I've applied to about 150 jobs between October to now, and I'm still unemployed. And I'm one of those people that has had a job since the day I turned 16, and not having a job right now, knowing that I've put so much time and effort into it, I can't even explain how demoralizing it is without bursting into tears. And maybe it sounds dramatic, but I don't even care because it's one of those things that you really do put in so much time and effort into these cover letters, into these interviews, into these applications. Do you know how frustrating it is to not hear a single response back, or get so far into the interview process and all of a sudden you're ghosted, or being ghosted for an interview, or getting all the way through the process and then they end up going with someone else at the very last stage? It is an emotional roller coaster. No joke, it is an emotional roller coaster. You are going through so much chaotic emotions. You have all of this hope because you get an interview and you get far into the interview process, and all of a sudden that comes crashing down when you don't get the job, and it starts all over again. It goes up and down and up and down, and it is so heart-wrenching.
I'm so fucking annoyed, so I just have to talk about this because, I have to get it off my chest. Oh my God. I have done 100 interviews. Literally, I'm probably that close. It's probably 89 or something. I've done multiple rounds. Why do I never secure the job? It's not me at this point. Or everyone's I don't know.
So I graduated this past December with a bachelor's degree, and I still don't have a job. I've updated my resume, I reached out to recruiters, I got a couple referrals, and I still don't have a job. I would say I've applied to over 1,000 roles, and yeah. I did have a couple interviews, but the companies just end up ghosting me. I don't know why. Is the job market really that bad for new grads? I don't know.
I applied to 101 jobs in the month of April, and here's how things went. So I submitted 101 applications, 33 rejections I received in the month of April, but I'm not tripping about that. 65 of the applications that I submitted, I never got a response for. So that signals to me that those applications are still pending. So my focus for the rest of this week and into next week is to follow up on as many of those applications as possible. I got 2 referrals. One actually led to an interview. And I scheduled 3 interviews, one of which I'm actually moving along pretty far along in the interview process. So this is what it looks like to apply to 100 jobs in a month. I would highly recommend any job seekers who are trying to land an offer in May or early June, you got to increase the number of applications you're submitting and start tracking your data so that you can really see what's working.
Why are there so many open jobs, but nobody's getting hired? The most recent jobs report released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that we added 350,000 jobs in January 2024. But that rosy picture hardly aligns with most people's experiences. We're out here applying to sometimes hundreds of jobs only to hear nothing in return. Now, we've all heard about so-called ghost jobs, where companies post fake jobs in order to give the illusion of growth. And we've talked a lot about how the use of AI in recruiting is causing all kinds of problems. But in a TikTok, recruiter Mike Petito said he doesn't think those problems are actually as big as we think. Rather, he says it ultimately comes down to the massive layoffs of recruiting and HR professionals since the pandemic. Some tech companies, for example, slashed recruiting staffs by 50% in 2022. Google has also been on a layoff spree when it comes to recruiting and HR. Petito himself has been laid off twice since 2020. And now that he's back to recruiting full-time, he says he routinely gets more than 300 applications for every position he posts. And he's far from alone. Many companies that used to have huge recruiting staff now have just a handful of people, or maybe even only one person, having to sift through hundreds if not thousands of resumes for every position. And he says this has also caused decision makers to drag their feet on selecting who they're actually going to hire, because everyone's so afraid of losing their job if they make the wrong choice. Exacerbating all this is the fact that there's probably a lot more people out in the job market than we realize. Our current 3.7% unemployment rate is among the lowest in decades. But that's not the whole picture. Unemployment reports are full of inaccuracies. Freelancers, temps, part-timers, gig workers are often misreported or underreported, and those who've given up on finding a job entirely aren't counted at all. Bottom line, if this strange economic moment doesn't make a lot of sense to you, you're not crazy. And if you're struggling in the job market, you're not alone and you're not the problem. Hang in there.
Hey everyone, it's Bree. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back in another video, and I am here to discuss something that I saw come across my Twitter timeline that sent me to the moon. And it was once again on the topic of job hunting and how to go about it. And I basically saw someone on Twitter say that they applied to hundreds and hundreds of jobs and they got nowhere. And of course, you had the people that once again tried to blame job seekers for not getting job opportunities, even though if you are in any way aware of what's been going on, if you've been paying attention to what's been going on to the job market, it's literally out of our hands at this point. Like, the job market is so bad. I've made many videos about how horrible the job market is, how people are struggling, and for some reason, no matter how many times we talk about this topic and how many times we share our stories, you still have people that feel like, you know, if you're struggling to find a job, it's your fault, you're lazy, you're not trying hard enough. There's an assumption that, you know, you're only applying to jobs that you want to apply to. People don't get how desperate a lot of people have been to try and find a job and still have found nothing. People who have applied to fast food places and retail places and haven't gotten anywhere. So when I saw his tweet, I'm like, you know, I've seen so many people say, you know, similar things on LinkedIn, and, you know, I really felt for him, but unfortunately, you still had some people that tried to downplay how harsh the job market is. So I want to show you guys, you know, what I'm talking about. Okay, so you have this tweet right here. This person said, I got laid off June 1st, 2023. So literally like a year ago from now. He actually posted this on June 4th of this year. He said, I got laid off June 1st, 2023. I created a spreadsheet to track all the roles I've applied to. A year later, I've submitted 463 applications. And in case y'all are wondering, no, he hasn't found anything yet. And this is what people have been saying, that they've been applying for months and years on end, applied to hundreds and hundreds of jobs and have gotten nothing in return. And I don't see how people see that and think, oh, well, you're not applying to enough jobs or you must be doing something wrong. There is no world where it logically makes sense that after someone has submitted 463 applications that they don't get anything. Just statistically, that doesn't make any sense. And I don't know why people aren't seeing things like this and going, okay, something is wrong with the job market. Something is wrong with the hiring process, because this shouldn't be a thing. And so, you know, I figured that people were feeling similar to me. Like, you know, I feel really bad for him. Like, this is not okay. You see Story Mode Bay saying, hoping something comes through soon. This person, I got laid off June 2nd, 2023, and I should have done the same. Probably in the 200 to 300. So again, hundreds and hundreds of applications and nothing. Some said you just need one yes, which is true. But again, and no, this is no shade to this person. But, you know, I just talked about toxic positivity and that whole, like, I mean, yeah, you know, you applied to 463 places, but you just need one yes. I'm glad that he's you know, appreciative of that, but me, I would have been like, okay, yeah, but it's just like, I'm not trying to hear that right now. And then this is when you get into the other side of this conversation. The people who, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter how many places you apply to, no matter how many strategies you use, no matter how many recruiters you hire, there's still people out there that feel like it is 100% on you and your fault if you don't get a job. So you have this person that says 400 is a very low number within a year. Now let's keep in mind, before I continue, there are 365 days in a year. He applied to 463 places. He literally applied to more than one job a day. And yes, there's an argument to be made that you can spend more time applying to jobs per day, but to expect that on a daily with no breaks, no space in between. This is what I mean by people don't take mental health seriously, because on what planet should you have to apply to multiple jobs a day for a year? A year we're talking about, not a couple months, not a couple of weeks. We're talking about a full year. You want this man to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas applying to jobs. Like, that's insanity to me. But anyway, let's continue. It should be at least 100 applications a week. Oh, okay. let's do some math. Let's do some math, shall we? He said 100 applications a week. So let's say he's including weekends on that, right? Let's see here. 100 divided by 7. Okay, so I'm getting 14.28. So let's just say 14. So he wants him to apply. Actually, hold on, let me double check his pronouns if he has them listed. Okay, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not sure what these pronouns are, so I'm gonna just say they to be safe. So they are, hold on, let me check his pronouns. Okay, I'm gonna assume that this is a male and that he goes by he him, right? So they want him to apply to 14 jobs a day, 7 days a week within a year, he said, because he said 400 is a very low number within a year. For an entire 365 days, you expect somebody to be putting in 14 applications a day? Not to mention, well, you know, he probably is unemployed, but you know, think about the people who are looking to leave their current jobs. So they have to work a 9 to 5 and apply to all these different places. Shoot, you need time to eat, sleep, do other things. And I think people too underestimate how long it takes to apply for a job. Like, yeah, you have the very, very few where you just attach your resume, you put your first and last name, maybe your email address, and then you send it off. But applying to jobs nowadays has gotten very, very rigorous. It's no longer just you throw your resume in and call it a day. You now have to take assessments. You now have to fill out a questionnaire, a long, lengthy questionnaire. You now have to go onto their specific job platform, fill out everything that's already on your resume. Like, this is no longer you just send in your resume and keep it moving. Again, there are some where you get lucky and you can do that, but then there's other ones where you have to take an assessment, you have to do a cover letter, you have to fill out a long questionnaire, and you know, it takes up a lot of time. And so expecting to do that 14 times a day, not even to mention, like, yeah, sure, look out your industry, look into stuff outside your field, cool, but to also think that there are enough jobs out there to apply to compensate for the 14 a day, I also think is a very wild assumption to make. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. He then says, that's what I've been told and given great advice, because if you need it, you will hustle no matter the job. Again, we need to reevaluate what it means. This hustle and grind culture is so toxic and it's so bad, especially in this country that thrives off of capitalism and climbing the corporate ladder. This idea that you need to work until you're in the grave, you need to spend every single waking second trying to get a job opportunity or trying to build your career, that's not healthy. Now, yeah, obviously if he has people to feed and people to take care of, like, he, you know, but it's like, you don't think 400 applications a year goes to show that he is hustling and putting in the work to get a job? Like, it's like, I can't stand people who feel like no matter what you do, it's just never enough, and they look at success and they look at how hard you're working by tiring yourself and depleting yourself until you get these certain opportunities. Like, this is not healthy at all. They said picking up 2 or 3 jobs even if you don't like them. And I've seen people say that as well, like, oh, well, if your 9 to 5 isn't paying enough, pick up another one. What? I feel like we need to take a step back. We need to take a step back and think about what we're saying here. And I'm gonna go full screen on this. Like, I really need us to sit here and think about how crazy all this is. I feel like because a lot of us for so long have been embedded in this grind culture and this, oh, we need to do this and do that, and no rest and no days off until I get the things that I want to get. I feel like because everyone has been in that mode for so long, they haven't been able to take a step back, look at their circumstances and go, oh, this is actually crazy that we're living like this. And it's crazy because in the midst of Gen Z and millennials, and I have no idea what age group either of these people are in, but in the spirit of Gen Z and millennials trying to establish healthier work boundaries and understanding that it's not healthy and it doesn't make any sense to waste your life and your years slaving away for a company that could care less about you, and losing sleep trying to chase a bag. Like, yeah, times are tough and people have bills to pay. And yes, I do believe that you should do whatever it is that you can to make ends meet. And yes, I understand there's a lot of people out there that are working 2 to 3 jobs and don't have a choice. So please don't think I'm saying that people that are overworking themselves, like everyone that's overworking themselves is doing it because they want to do it. I am not saying that at all. But what I am saying is it's not healthy, and we should be fighting to have better pay, better working conditions, because this should not be the norm. Like, to say that 400 applications is low, that should not be a norm. No one should be saying this. No one should just be saying, oh, like if you're 9 to 5, if you're working 40 hours a week and you're not making enough, pick up another shift. If you're working 2 full-time jobs, which somehow some people are doing that, that's 80 hours a week. And if you're working 80 hours a week and you can't halfway afford your groceries, your bills, and you can't afford to go get a cup of coffee or treat yourself every now and then, that's not okay. And we can't normalize that. And I don't see how people don't understand that, because there's so many people out there that have that hustle mentality of like, we just gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, but it's like after 2 years of doing it, 5 years of doing it, 10 years of doing it, you get to a point where you're like, I'm literally spending my life just working for someone else. I can't even enjoy the money that I'm grinding for because of all these hours that I have to work. And so I think the conversation needs to shift from you need to get another job to we need to look and find another job that pays you better, or you need to fight for a higher salary. We should be fighting these companies on paying us our worth. There is literally no reason at all, again, unless you work in fast food or something like that, there is no reason in the world why someone is working 40 hours a week and they can't afford to take care of themselves. That people should be rioting. People should be angry. But I feel like people are more concerned with just getting through and getting their life together that they can't even fathom fighting for better or wanting better. They're just like, well, I just gotta take what I can get. And it really shouldn't be like that. But let me hop back over to Twitter. Okay, so the person responded and they said, for you maybe, but I was studying for several exams as well, so maybe don't assume you know everything. Ray. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know if people have other jobs, if people are in college. Like, there's so much, and it's just like to think that people just have all that time to apply to jobs, and even if they do, they shouldn't. You're going to get burnt out. You're not even going to put your best foot forward in finding the best opportunities for you if you're kind of just aimlessly applying every hour on the hour. Oh, then they got the nerve to respond talking about studying for exams doesn't pay your rent or student debt. Okay, but they have to get through college. Like, what are we talking about? Okay, I'm gonna just skip that. Okay, this person said, have you tried applying for a job in Omaha, Nebraska? Said some random boomer in South Carolina, probably. Yes, I have seen that as well. People saying like, oh, we need to apply to jobs that aren't in your state, apply out of state. Like, again, people don't think ahead when they're giving these critiques. It costs a lot of money to move, and not every job covers relocation expenses. Sometimes you have to pay out of pocket to move, and if you're moving across state lines, that's a lot of money, you know, to move, like paying for moving trucks and then, you know, flying over there as well. Like, that is a lot. And if you're already struggling for funds, expecting someone to uproot their life just in a blink of an eye when they've been applying for jobs for a year now and they don't, I'm sure the money is starting to dwindle now. You can't expect someone to just drop everything and move. I understand people do it. I understand people make something shake. There's plenty of people that have just taken the leap. You know, they move to another state with $10 in their bank account, but you can't expect that to be everyone's story and everyone's outcome. I commend the people that were able to make it, and I'm not saying that it's impossible for anyone to make something shake, but you know, I don't think it's realistic to think that everyone can just up and move like that. Okay, this person said, I did 100 apps a week when I was unemployed. It took 6 months. See, this is what I'm saying. The fact that she was putting in 100 applications a week and it still took her 6 months. It still took her, actually, let's do some more math. Okay, she did 100 apps a week. So let's see. There's 4 weeks in a month. 6 months. So 6 times 4, 24 weeks times 100. She put in 2,400 applications. After 2,400 applications in 6 months, she was finally able to land something. You cannot convince me that that's normal. It's not. It's not. It just simply isn't. This person said, you got laid off exactly 1 month after me to the day. I have done the same, been through multiple rounds of interviews to not be chosen, done assessments, Zooms, in person, over the phone, etc. I have never experienced this before. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy out here. Y'all keep talking about, tailor your resume and get LinkedIn Premium and hire a recruiter. People are out here doing, and again, and this goes to my point about the hiring process. It's not just as simple as submit your resume, do 1 to 2 interviews, and you're good. Some of these interview rounds get so ridiculous. I'm talking about 3, 4, 8. I've seen 8. I kid you not. Almost every single job that I've interviewed for had 3 interviews minimum. And that includes internships, part-time roles, and contracted roles. Not even the full-time salary roles, which those as well were, 3 plus. I've been through 4 rounds of interviews before, got to the final round, and you think I got the job? No. Like, it's exhausting, not to mention the assessments, that too. I've had several assessments that I had to take when doing the interview process. Didn't get any of those jobs either. It's so much time that you spend trying to prove yourself in the interview process just to get turned down or ghosted. Here's a couple more. Someone said, keep applying. I used to apply to 10 to 20 companies a day for 6 months straight. Again, you should not have to do. Look, I get it, right? Again, people have bills to pay. People gotta eat. So do what you gotta do. But the whole point of me talking about this, making this video, isn't to shame anybody or say like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. No, you gotta do what you gotta do. But what I'm saying is that to the people that are insensitive to those who are struggling to find a job, look at what people are having to do. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Look at what people are having to do to get something. So before you place judgment on someone to say, oh, they must not be applying to enough jobs, their resume must be horrible, they must interview incorrectly, they must not be networking, they must not be going above and beyond and looking outside their state, they must not be looking at remote and in-person jobs. Before you start getting all these assumptions to try to blame the person for why they're not getting a job, just look at what the people are saying. Look at what people are having to go through to get a job. Because again, you got people like this that are like, oh, well, how many tweets did you write? Again, you expecting him to spend every waking minute and hour applying to a job is just insanity to me. Now, I saw this tweet, right? And, even though I saw a lot of foolishness, I also saw a lot of people, supporting him and saying like, just keep pushing through. You're going to get something. It's okay. Give yourself grace. But then we have this tweet right here that also went viral. As you can see right here, it got 7.5 million views. People had a lot to say in response to this. So Simone, I believe their name is, said this is less than 10 applications a week. I recommend people to apply to 10 jobs a day if possible. And I've already ranted and raved this entire video, but this is really what set it off for me, because I'm just like, 10 a week is a lot. It's a lot. People don't understand. And trying to dumb it down. Listen, I even did it with my math, right? I tried to split it up evenly, but when you think realistically, this could have been a situation where he spent Monday applying to 15, Tuesday he applied to 3, Wednesday he applied to 10, Thursday he applied to 2. Like, it could have been very sporadic like that, but to diminish it to be like, well, yeah, it's 463, but when you break it down, it's really only 10 a week, and 10 is not that much. It's a lot. It's a lot, especially for a year. I think we're missing the year part. It's been a year that he's done this, and to say that he should increase it from 10 a week to 10 a day, like... And I know the argument is, well, you're unemployed, you have nothing but time. I know that's everyone's go-to. Because people also don't think about those that have families, that have kids, that need to take care of their household and look for a job. People don't think about that either. It's just, this whole entire job market is so dehumanizing, and these companies already dehumanize their employees and the people that work for them with the low salaries, with these horrible interview processes. It doesn't help when us, the job seekers and the people that are actually actively in the workforce, are also going against each other and devaluing each other and looking down and judging other people and almost being on the side of the corporations, which I always side-eye people that are heavily on the side of a corporation. They don't need your support. They're fine. People like Google and Amazon and all these big companies, they will be more than okay. Okay, they don't need you defending them. I'll never forget when Twitter started going downhill with all these these crazy updates, and people were defending Elon. I'm like, Elon has no idea who you are, and I highly doubt that he would be sitting up here defending you like this. Why are you defending a random stranger on the internet that's literally like a billionaire? Like, why do you feel the need to do that? It was so odd. But anyway, I saw that, and then I saw this, which I agreed with. Someone said, at the point that 463 job applications is not enough to find one job, we need to have a serious conversation about where the responsibility lies, because it's not what the people having to fill out 463 applications for does. And this perfectly ties in the whole point of this video, is that we need to stop placing so much judgment on the people that are looking for jobs and start putting judgment on these companies who are just, again, have horrible hiring practices, and also the companies that are putting out fake job listings as well, the people that are putting out job listings for jobs that they plan on hiring internally anyway. There's so much going on, and this anger and this judgment, I feel, is misplaced. It's not with the people that are applying to these jobs. Whether someone is applying to 100 jobs, 500 jobs, or 10 jobs, it should not take 6 months to a year or more to find an opportunity, especially when you're applying to jobs that you're qualified for, that you're overqualified for, like all that. And you know what, actually, let me go ahead and go back full screen, because as much as people love to say, oh, even if you're not 100% qualified, still apply for the role, that's not true anymore. That is not true anymore. You now have to be 100% qualified to even get an interview anymore. It used to be true. It used to be true that you didn't have to hit every single requirement. It used to be true that internship experience was valuable, and it still is to a certain degree. It used to be true that the things that you did in college were of some value. All of that is out the window now. Degrees don't hold as much value anymore. A lot of the stuff that used to work when it came to job seeking, it just doesn't anymore. People know how to tailor their resumes at this point. I mean, shoot, we have ChatGPT to do it for you. Like, people are actively out here doing everything that they can to get these jobs. They're applying to 10 jobs a day, 100 jobs. I don't see how you could apply to 100 jobs a day unless you're just doing the easy apply on LinkedIn. But realistically, like, doing 10 or more job applications a day for months and years on end, you cannot sit up here and tell me that that is normal. And if anything, I would commend people that are still pushing through, that are still fighting to get these applications out there and to get that job opportunity, because I'll tell you firsthand, after 2 years of trying to find a full-time job after college, I've completely checked out. Because not even just with the job market in itself being horrible, my industry right now is in the sewers right now. Marketing is not as lucrative as it used to be. People undervalue marketing so bad, and I never thought that my marketing degree would be as useless as it feels right now. But people aren't even really looking at marketing as a valuable role anymore. We're severely underpaid. People are throwing their social media accounts to interns and people that are not even skilled in the field. People undervalue marketing so much, and it's to a point where even if I was able to scrounge up a full-time job, I'm more than likely not going to get paid enough to live on my own and to take care of myself, which is literally the whole point of me trying to get a job. And so, you know, that's why, you know, and I talked about it in the other video, and I appreciate everybody that was very supportive of me in that video as I was talking about how confusing my 20s are and not really knowing what to do and what the next steps are. I appreciate everybody that has been supportive of me kind of pursuing my own thing, because at this point, and thankfully this is something that I want to do anyway. Like, I've always wanted to be my own boss, my own entrepreneur. This aligns with my life goals anyway, but it also feels like I'm forced into it as well. I'm forced into entrepreneurship because trying to get a job and trying to be in the workforce, I feel like it's just not working out for me in all angles, not even just the job market, but also the industry. I feel like it's just a lost cause. Not to mention too that because of the industry that I'm in, you know, I've also talked about too, like, just how I am as a person and with my personality and me being an introvert. That's also caused me a lot of issues at jobs. I've been mistreated at almost every single job I've ever had. It's just the job market is so bad, and it's a lot of these companies are taking advantage of people bad to where they are willing to put in hundreds of applications a day. They are willing to take a low paying job. They are willing willing to stack up 2 to 3 full-time jobs to make ends meet because people are desperate. And when people are desperate, it makes it easy for these corporations to take advantage of those people. They take advantage of people that are desperate. That's why they can get away with putting people through a 5-interview process and have you waiting for months, or ghosting people, or paying you extremely low to where you have to get a second job. That's why companies can get away with it, because there's so many people out here that are desperate for a job that are willing to take breadcrumbs, and people take advantage of that. And it's so sad, it's so sick. And I pray that at some point it shifts back to an employee-led market and we end up getting the control back, because right now it's just really, really bad. And you know, with me just kind of entering adulthood, this is my first time really seeing it firsthand. I don't know what it was like, you know, years ago, and if this was a thing. A few of you have spoke to that. A few of you have told me that, yeah, back in like the 2010s, and you know, like, this isn't the first time that the job market and the economy has looked like this. So I do have hope that it will shift again to be a little bit better. I don't want this to just be what it is from here on out. I really hope that things get better. I know, at least with the economy, it's always up and down, right? And so it's not always going to be down. It's going to go up at some point. I just hope that it's sooner rather than later. Same thing with the job market. I do hope that the job market does get better. Even though I'm pretty much checked out of the job market at this point, I do hope, for the sake of other people that actively want to build up their careers and be in their fields, I do pray that things get better for them and that things start to turn around, because right now it's just ridiculous out here. But yeah, anyway, let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.